Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining today. We want to show you today Tabby and how it can simplify bookkeeping for you, save you time, and essentially make sure you're stress-free and ready when tax season comes around. So it's really the way of the future. It's the way of it's a modern tool that aims to automate accounting for you. So in the chat here, you can feel free to leave your questions. I'll give you a quick overview, and then we'll go into some of the questions and some more practical um, uh, ways that you should be using it. So let me share my screen 1 second. There you go. Alrighty. So yeah, you guys should be able to see my screen. So in Tabby, our aim is to make sure you understand your business finances without needing to be an accountant. Like you should be able to have clarity over your business, make better decisions, see your numbers in real time. And that's all possible because of AI and the advancements we've seen there. So, QuickBooks is a tool, very outdated, very cumbersome, hard to use, as a huge learning curve. You have to know accounting jargon. We've stripped all of that away and built Tabby for the owner operator who needs to have a good financial grasp on their business without needing to understand accounting jargon. So in Tabby, when you're there, you'll see something like this, a dashboard. Essentially, that's giving you a high level overview of Tabby. But the very first thing in Tabby, what you should be doing once you join Tabby is connect your bank accounts. So we connect your bank accounts through Plaid safely and securely. More than 12,000 different options of connecting your bank account. So in that case, that's a very simple step. Once you connect your bank accounts, you can also upload PDFs, Excel, and other things manually if you like, but we always recommend connecting directly. So once you connect, you will see, and this is where essentially the AI automation starts working. Soon as your bank accounts are connected, you will see all your transactions flowing in and Tabby automatically categorizing those. So for here, you can look at this one, it's categorized as a license. It also added a vendor or payor payee name. So every transaction that Tabby is able to that is able to understand, it'll automatically do this pay, vendor, and category. So right there, it does about 80% of that. So if you go to categorize, everything here is categorized. You can change something if you'd like. If you think, Rhino Rank is not advertising and it's software, or you just want to put it in you want to create a new category and put in something, you can do that. But say I want to put this in, I want to say I want to put this in software, I can just change it. And then the nice thing about Tabby is anything that it does, it learns from your behavior. So if you say Rhino Rank should go into software going forward, it'll apply that to all the transactions there are, and going forward, it'll learn from that. So it gets smarter from your usage. So that's just basically how to change something if you want to, something that AI has done. If you want to double check, like, hey, I checked this one, I mark it as checked. So what it does is, that you've double checked what AI has done. If you want to go that far, but really that's not necessary. What you really need to do is once you're in Tabby, you want to review the transaction that it hasn't been able to categorize, and from there, the system gets more smarter, and going forward, it won't ask you those same questions. So, for example, this transaction here, 185, it doesn't know. So you need to add a category, but maybe you're not even sure. So we have Ask Tabby. You can say, this is a payment for 401k plan for my employees. So something like that, the spelling or anything doesn't have to be perfect. And right there it tells you, it should be salaries and wages. Or you can ask again. You can basically say, it's if you don't think this is accurate, we can say pension plan fee for my employees. Sometime it'll give you, and we ask again. So in this case, it'll probably give, and we accept, say it's suggesting salaries, and you accept and you categorize, and from there essentially it's categorize that transaction. And if there's multiple of those ones, so if we just do vest well here, vest well here, it's categorized multiple of those transactions. And if I want to change it to pension, something like this, I can change it. And now it's also, I've trained it on that. So the Ask Tabby is helpful in the case where you're not sure how to, test the service. So you can say car repair, something like that. And then they'll just suggest where that should be going. So repair and maintenance, you accept and categorize. So once you clear these transactions, it's getting faster. It's getting faster and easier, as time goes by. So the goal is get your bank connected, get the transactions reviewed by Ask Tabby. This is like the first time when you're logging, when you first connected, because when you connect your bank accounts in Tabby, it can go back 24 months, 18 months, 6 months. So say you start today and you connect from January, so you have a little bit of work to do at the beginning. Maybe you won't have this many transactions as this demo account has. You clear it the first time, and then you go in once a month, 30 minutes to an hour, review transactions, you're good. But you want to see how your business is doing. So as you're reviewing transactions, you can go and look at a report, profit and loss report. Say I want to look at this year to date, I generate report and I want to look at it by month. And I have something like this. You have your revenue, all your other chart of accounts, accounting, and you can see month by month where you're spending money. You can dig deeper. You can export that report. You can export your P&L, your balance sheet, all of that. You can even create, expand. We can collapse it, look at it in a summary like this: total income, net income, and so on and so forth. We also have the option to create sub general ledger. So if you're trying to create like a chart of accounts, like in Tabby, we give you a set amount of chart of accounts. The ones that are being used are active. And say you need a different chart of account, you can say I leased a car and need to track it. And then essentially it'll help you generate like custom chart of accounts for your business. So it says that if I say no, I run a restaurant, I need a group of expenses for my restaurant, I say that, it'll give me custom. So you can customize a chart of account to your business, which is also really, it gives you a whole list of chart of accounts, add income, expense, whatever it is that's needed. I know in track, we give you just ideas there. See if you borrowed money from a bank, it knows that's a liability and it's a bank loan that you have to track. So that's how you kind of build if you want to customize some of the categories more further, and you use AI to help you. Besides that, in Tabby, we have a full invoice function, so you can send invoices through email. Getting paid through Tabby is a feature that's coming in about 2 to 4 weeks, where you can connect Stripe to get paid. And then, you can track your items. If you want to record a sales receipt, like you just collected payment from someone, all of that is doable. We have a nice dashboard tracking expenses. So obviously, when you connect your bank accounts and your credit cards, expenses are already flowing in. If you want to manually add an expense, maybe you paid with something with cash, you can upload the receipt simply here and it'll track that. And this also could be done through a mobile app. We have an Android and iOS mobile app where you can take pictures of receipts, categorize transactions. All of that is also really cool. So we have that along with other more complex accounting like journal entries, bank reconciliation, chart of accounts, which a regular user probably won't need to use, but it's more or less reviewing the transactions. Along with that, we have this nice report called tax ready report. So essentially, you want to make sure you're ready for tax season. So you look at, say you're trying to file your 2025 taxes, you go and pull this report. It'll say you still have 290 transactions for 2025 you have to review before you'll be ready. It'll give you some tips. It'll give you some other transactions that you may not have in your books, but maybe you can still take, and then you can export this report, very easily, and then give it to your accountant to do your own taxes. So this is also something super useful that we see people like. In Tabby, if you have multiple businesses, you can switch between businesses in one login, multiple businesses, and then we have this multi-entity consolidated P&L. Where like if you want to look at, you have multiple businesses, you want to look at how each business is doing side by side, just from one account, you can do this. This is also a super neat feature that we've seen users, ask us about, and then we've produced it. But it's very much kind of like autopilot. You spend a little time and then it learns from that behavior, but from the get-go, it handles 70 to 80% of transactions categorization automatically. So that's a huge amount of time saving. And then getting started is kind of your base when you start, what you can do, downloading the apps, and then obviously we have some help and we have a live chat support and all of that. I'll get into quickly some questions so we can for one fee, how many different separate business can I set up? So right now the plan essentially is it's a separate payment for each business. So if you get the standard plan, that's just one business. If you want another business, you get another subscription. So that's how it works for multiple businesses. I had someone ask about QuickBooks integration. So how it works for QuickBooks is you need to migrate your data over from QuickBooks. So and this should be done before you connect any bank account. So you say you start fresh, say I'm starting a new organization, and I'll just walk through the quick sign up right now. You enter your name, phone number, company, we'll just say test, and then say I'm to the business. Let's choose, and then here it tells you to connect your bank accounts. I'll connect this later. I choose my plan. Say I just go with a free plan here, and I get started, right? I'm in 30 seconds of setup. Now I want to do the migration. So under settings, we go under business and we go to migration. And here there's a video tutorial and start migration. So we choose Wave is coming in about a few weeks. Right now it's QuickBooks. And then you drop in the file. So you drop in a balance sheet, P&L, and I can show you that really quickly, how that works. It's just a few minutes. Let's just say, let's say Wave migration. Got it. So balance sheet. So I drop in the files like this. I have to download specific files from QuickBooks. And then from there, you just hit continue, and then it just starts processing that data. Depending on how big your file is, it may take you a little longer, but this is how you can just bring everything in from QuickBooks. Probably takes a couple minutes for this to do its thing. So we'll let it do its thing. And in the meantime, I can show you guys, let me, some other probably take
Can I ask a
about a couple
question?
minutes. Sure, go ahead, please.
Does it have a limit how far you can go back for your data?
You can go back 3 years, 3 years of data. We allow you to fully bring in, like at the transaction level. So it's already done it. So it's continue to summary. And here we can see I've migrated the data and all the transactions that I migrated are here with the category. So it brings over the full chart of accounts and it brings in essentially the rules of how you were categorizing things in QuickBooks. So Tabby will follow that. So you don't have to retrain it. You don't have to set up rules again. You don't need a chart of accounts. Everything is here. And the way you make sure this is accurate is you just pull a P&L and balance sheet, and I just compare it to my source file. And then I make sure that then the source file numbers that I have, the revenue, income, expense, all of that match my actual data that I downloaded from QuickBooks, the balance sheet and P&L. Once that matches, then everything has transferred over, kind of cleanly and accurately. And the 3 year, basically, because IRS generally audits 3 years, that's kind of how far back they go. So we kept that as a limitation. But you can obviously download all your data from QuickBooks, keep it in your, in your files, and Tabby, you can kind of manage, 3 years past and future data. So if you
And then
start now,
after you,
you go ahead.
I'm sorry, after you do that migration and then you connect your bank, it won't double dip, right?
No, so right, so what you have to make sure is if you're migrating, so right here, if I look at my data, I migrated the date. Last transaction is 12/31/2025. So now I go add bank. Here it won't let me because I'm on a free plan. I can only connect to one. So you can basically, when you connect, you just have to make sure the date you choose, it's gonna actually automatically choose the date for you. It's gonna say that you're connecting this account and you already have transactions up to 12/31. It's gonna take from 1/1 and it's gonna then kind of merge it with the account that's here. So there will be no double, no sort of double dipping or duplicates essentially.
All right, makes sense. Thanks.
Yeah. All right. Anybody else have anything else they like to see um, or chart of accounts that you'd like to add? So yeah, once you're in here, you can basically change, you can add notes, you can upload attachments. We also have a matching function essentially if there's a credit card payment or internal transfer, and Tabby is able to identify which payment the credit card went to, which account it was from. It'll categorize that as a credit card payment, so you don't have to. So really, you're just looking at what the expense transactions are. Let's see if we have. Yeah, so I think that probably covers. I just want to let you guys know in terms of we also have a referral plan. So if you like Tabby, you can refer it to others. You get a 25% commission for 12 months. It's free to sign up. That's also really neat. We have a couple of new features that we're rolling out in the next 2 to 4 weeks. Stripe integration, multi-currency that you can manage. And we have the euros. If somebody using different currency, you can use that. And then also we will have a matching feature where essentially if you say you send the invoice and the payment gets connect, is deposited in your bank account, the invoice and the bank transaction auto match. So like kind of reconciliation is automatically done. So that's also a nice new feature. I think that will help even streamline those people that will be sending invoices through Tabby. We'll send an update on all of those, and we'll probably be also be doing a kind of overview of those new features. All right. If you guys have any tax related question, I'm also my background, I'm a CPA, so worked with small business in the accounting and tax space for the last 10 years. Really saw the problem and the pain point with this, and that's where the idea of Tabby came. And so far, we're seeing we have over 4,500 users using Tabby on the platform, and we're continuously collecting feedback and ways that we can even make it simpler and easier for our current users, maybe as a feature. Or so if anything like that comes up, feel free to shoot us an email. All right, so I think I'll end it here. Thank you guys for joining. I'll just send a follow-up email to you guys with just a summary, and then if you aren't using Tabby, feel free to get this free account, connect your bank account, see how it's doing its thing, and then you can upgrade anytime or downgrade. Comes with a 14-day free trial as well. All of the accounts with a 30-day refund if there's any issues. All right, everyone. Thank you for your time. Have a good rest of your day, and I'll see you in another one.